Alrighty, Jon Buchanan, welcome to the 17 Media Podcast. Thanks for your time, much appreciated.
I appreciate having me on, Justin.
What we're about is we just want to basically share with our audience the opportunity to help them through the period of transitioning from, say, an international player through to the highest level that they can get themselves to. And you being the Pathways manager here and one of the heads of the junior to senior transitional program, I'm sure they're going to enjoy what we can talk about today.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So just run us through what you actually do here at the Seagulls, at the Wynnum Manly Seagulls, and we can kick off with that.
So I'm basically the Pathways manager, so we run junior academy program, obviously junior rep program, which encompasses our Cyril, Connell and Meninga squads. So my role sort of is identifying young, players in our catchment area, predominantly our catchment area, that we think can transition to play in our junior rep program, and then obviously progress to play, hopefully Queensland Cup or be given NRL opportunities. So. Probably doesn't sound an overly big job, but it's fairly big sort of scope. At the end of the day, it's not just identifying the kids, but also then bringing them in and educating them around, what it takes to become a Seagull and a rugby league player. And that sort of process starts from around the under 13 age group. We're pretty strict on, we don't bring a lot of 13-year-olds in, but we do identify, I think this year in our program we only had 7 13-year-olds and then maybe 15 sort of 14-year-olds, and then the number sort of gets bigger the older they get. So obviously there's a heap of different stages in a young 13-year-old's life that we need to sort of watch over a period of time, and their growth, their body shape, their skill, all that sort of stuff. So I'm not really one that's big on going and bringing in 13-year-olds. I'd sort of like to, just see how they all progress.
I guess the program here is quite intense, so it's a big step. So you've got to find the right kid that has developed, I guess, physically and maturely at that age to be able to handle the rigours of it. Yeah,
definitely. I think there's still an element of, kids that are really skillful and good at the game without having, that the physical development complete. We still need to identify those kids. It's just a matter of being really patient with them and understanding that putting them in certain environments may not be. It's probably more detrimental to their growth than being a positive on their growth.
So with the size of your what we say catchment, so around we're obviously here at Cougarai Oval, the head of the Wynnum Manly Seagulls. What's your sort of area that you're focusing on club-wise for the young players out there that already play at those clubs?
Yeah, so we've got the smallest catchment area in the state along with East. So we have 6 junior clubs. 3 of those clubs really don't have a lot of kids playing rugby league after the age of under 12s, 13s.
Right.
So while we focus on all of them, predominantly Wynnum Juniors, Redlands, Beanley, and to a smaller extent Capella are probably our 4 clubs that are fairly strong in our area. Obviously, in a perfect world, they're all from under 13s to that international age group. They're all playing in the top divisions, but it doesn't happen like that. It can be challenging, just with probably the numbers that we have. And that's obviously where, we do have to sort of look outside the catchment area and see what other avenues we can sort of recruit kids from.
Yeah, well, I guess if you don't have the number, then you've got to look outside the talent pool, I guess. And there's also, I guess, you're feeding into some NRL clubs, so there's an element of young players that have got affiliations with those clubs that end up here for you to nurture them through to potentially the NRL or whatever might bring their way.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously we have a really strong relationship with the Brisbane Broncos. You know, they've recruited kids to their organisation that get placed with us, which is, you know, it's a positive because our kids then get to play with better players, and it makes us a lot stronger as a club. And you know, anyone who's watched the Cyril, Connell and Mel Meninga competitions understands how tough it is. It's probably not an equal comp for the South East Queensland teams because we all get to play each other, whereas, you know, no disrespect to some of the out-of-town teams, but they all get to play each other as well. And usually all the high volume of the really good talent gravitates towards the South East Queensland clubs.
Towards the city,
and obviously we also have a great relationship with the Titans and the Dolphins, the Cowboys. So, you know, if there's kids in our system or within our region here, I suppose, that are signed with those clubs, then often they reach out and want to place their kids here. They understand that we run a good program, and you know, we've got a great success rate of young men turning into NRL players.
Oh, well, some of the names that have come through here, like this club is absolutely steeped in history. None other than the King, which the young kids probably don't know about, but you and I are probably more au fait with his talents. But so the role the Seagulls plays with, say, those 3 or 4 clubs out of the 6, if you're a young kid playing at, say, Redlands, how do you... What role do the Seagulls play with those kids? Like, are you identifying? Are you visiting? Are you talking?
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Yeah, so we first and foremost we identify them. In conjunction with their coaching directors, normally have a conversation with you know, their president or coaching director on, you know, what kids are going well. For me though, I actually like to get out there and have a look. I've also got some staff that I use that will watch a lot of footy for me. I can't be sort of everywhere at once. So, and then I really like to track them. It's not something where I go and watch a young kid play and, you know, he might be really good one day and then the next game I'll go and he's not. So it's something over a period of time. They like to see, you know, sort of how consistent they are with what they're producing, and that's how we identify them. And as I said, we're not looking for 40 players as, you know, 13 or 14-year-old. We're only looking to keep that group to a small, you know, number. So, and then once you've sort of identified them, then they may stay on track and you keep progressing with them. Other times there's kids that develop early that sort of drop away, and then there's other kids that are late bloomers that you may not really grab you, or you like something about them, but they're not quite ready, but you might like them at 15, you know. So it's sort of, you know, our depth chart changes every year. It's just, and as you know, some kids unfortunately can go down the wrong path, or they lose interest in rugby league, and it's not so our list changes around, you know, all those different, I suppose, sort of variables.
Yeah, well, look, I myself have been videoing for probably the last 10 years, and there's probably 8 years worth of content on YouTube, and seeing the growth and the change in those kids over that period of time. You know, I've got a son who's a player. I've been anchored to his age group, but seeing them develop through that period, they come in all shapes and sizes and all different degree and depths of talent. I mean, I guess hard work's something you look for, but what sort of makes an average player into a good player that you sort of, what are the things you're looking for?
Well, definitely, like I do a lot of homework behind the scenes. A lot of people probably don't know that, but like I often talk to their school, you know, teachers, their club coaches if I can. I just watch how they handle themselves in the group, that sort of stuff from a distance. And I think what we're looking at here at the Seagulls is we want young kids that really want to compete hard. Don't necessarily have to be the most gifted players, but definitely want to compete on every little, you know, effort that they can. And we want them to be coachable. That's just something that, makes it so much easier for a young player to grow if they're prepared to have a real growth mindset and want to be better, not just as a footballer but as a young man, and really sort of take all that on as a whole. One thing I think we do really well here at the Seagulls, and I think we have for a number of years, is we're really good at making sure we bring good young men into the organisation. I think only since I've been in Australia the last couple of years, I've really only had to sort of tap 2 young kids on the shoulder and say, hey, this club's not for you. So it's, that's probably one area we really look at, is identifying good young men.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, just wanting to, when we watch them play and train, we just want them to be competing on everything. And then we, obviously then our performance staff can add their touch with their physical preparation. Our coaching staff can work on their skill acquisition, all that sort of stuff. So, it's, I suppose my job probably sounds easy. I just got to sort of identify them and get them into the system. But we've got really good coaching staff here in place. And, I haven't seen too many young men that have come in here that haven't left better players and better young men for the experience.
I think you can, you get a real sense of community when you come into the organisation. You see the history, like, you walk down into the training, you see all the history and everything there. And to me, it's quite evident that, although you want the best footballers, you play a huge role in making them good men and women from the start. And I think that goes for anything in life now. If you're respectful, resilient, and you work hard, then there's an opportunity there for you. But it must be brutal too, because the changing of generations, I guess, over the last 30 years, what kids tick on today versus what we did when we were kids. And I don't know if I want to be a kid in this environment with the amount of information and that they've got access to, and they're pretty hard on themselves. And one thing they are too is probably a little bit impatient. They all kind of want to arrive at the destination
too fast.
The ones that take the journey properly and really involve you, they're a bit of a standout.
Yeah, you're on the money there. I think, like if I think back now, say 15 years ago, and probably social media, all those things weren't, as prevalent in society.
They weren't doing podcasts 15,
exactly.
20 years ago.
I think kids could be kids. Nowadays, it's a little bit, they all know what's going on, no matter what club they're at. They seem to know what everyone else is doing, which makes it really hard. But I think, as you said, a lot of them want to get to probably their final destination fairly quick in the footy world. I always sort of try to use... I did a presentation here a couple of weeks back with our Cyril Connell boys, and I used Jake Granville as an example. When Jake... I signed Jake to come here from St Brendan, Japan. I think it was the end of 2006, and Jake was struggling to probably make our Colt side back then. He was playing a bit of footy off the bench and that, and over a period of time, he just trained really well, had a great attitude. Was extremely coachable, popular around the club, worked hard. And then, I think 2 years later, he made his Queensland Cup debut. He's player of the match in a grand final. I think it was 2011. Then he plays regular Queensland Cup here. I was obviously lucky enough to coach him through that period. And then obviously plays a bit of NRL at, 24 years of age, which a lot of them want to get there at 18, 19. So, and then, just look at Jake's journey now. He's just retired, but, he's 34, 35, and he's played over 200 first-grade games, and he didn't debut till 24. So,
an amazing competitor.
And
he doesn't waste a second in a game of NRL. You guys obviously played a considerable role in that.
Yeah, I think I'd like to think we did, but at the same time, I think Jake was, as I said, all those qualities that you need to be successful. He had, and he worked really hard on. So, as I said, I presented that to the boys a couple of weeks ago, and I just said, this is just a start of your sort of journey. Don't be in a hurry. Don't get disillusioned with setbacks, and you've got to be resilient. I know it's easy for us to say, as you said, about the young men, because a lot of setbacks can really affect their confidence and that. So it's important that we're reminding them that, like a setback can be a good thing. And
100%. And I think, to some of those young men, footy is everything.
Yeah.
Like, they all come from, comparatively different walks of life, and some have got challenges at home, some have got other things going on in their life, and footy is everything. And I guess they, there's some knocks along the way too.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Their dreams, tend to, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Like, I heard someone say the other day, injury, luck, and hard work are usually the three things that can get you through. And hard work's pretty good, but you can get the wrong injury, a bad injury at the wrong time that can be a sliding doors moment. So
yeah, for sure.
I guess it's tough on these kids, but with your program that you run here, like Cyril, Connell, Meninga, and I think, would I be right in saying you guys run a RISE program as well for the younger kids?
Yeah, so we did last year. The RISE program is actually run in conjunction with the NRL, so it's not actually our program.
Yep.
It's a governing body program which we endorse, and it's what's the best way to put it? It's for kids who want to experience rugby league and all different levels. So you don't have to have an elite 15-year-old in that program, or you can, but you could also have a 15-year-old who's a Div 3, Div 4 player who just wants to try and better their skills and all that. So that's what the RISE program's predominantly about. It's made up of a number of sessions over a 2-month period where majority of the sessions are all skill-based, into small-sided games, that sort of stuff. So they can, there's not a big emphasis on, physically they have to be good, all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely, there's definitely an avenue there for kids to want to be involved in that program.
Is that something that you get selected for? Can you enrol?
Yeah, you enrol for that program. So we actually will be running that program next year in conjunction with like the NRL, QRL.
Yep.
So yeah, kids from all our clubs can register to be a part of that. So yeah, there's no restrictions. You don't have to be selected, anything like that. So as long as they're keen to come in and
have a
learn
crack.
some new skills and have a go, then they're more than welcome to register
well, that's
for
good
that.
Because I guess there's all walks of life. There's some kids that they probably think they're not sure if rugby league's for them, but they love playing with their mates and they love being outdoors and you've got the others that are just die hard focused on becoming the next Jake Granville.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good avenue for the NRL and the QRL and clubs like yourselves that have jumped on board with it.
Yeah.
Give people a taste. And would I be right in saying that being a part of that program puts people on the radar?
It definitely does.
Yep.
Like there may be a number of kids that register for that program that are already been identified by us. It's a good way to put yourself in the picture frame, I suppose, for us to have a look at. For sure.
On top of, once you get past RISE, I guess, on top of all your other work, you've decided to take on the head coaching role for the Cyril Connell team this year.
Yeah.
Kids on the outside that don't get selected to be a part of that squad, what are the sort of things that the players experience in that squad, and what's it like, the training and the work? Like, I haven't met anyone yet that says they enjoy pre-season.
I haven't done one for a number of years, so it doesn't worry me. I think the biggest exposure that they get is just the volume of training, I think.
Yep.
I think majority of kids may come from clubland and they've played under 16s and they train 2 nights a week, and majority of coaches at that level may give them a little conditioning component, but it's probably not at the level they're getting here at the moment. And then they go away and they play their game on the weekend. When they come in here, they're 3 nights a week. Most sessions are around 2 hours. In that, they'll do a strength conditioning component, so that could be 45 minutes strength and then another 25 minutes conditioning. Then they'll roll into skills, and they may have a contact session as well. So it's pretty full on, and I think we also need to be mindful that they're young men still, so we've got to be careful we're not overtraining them. And obviously at our level here, we're pretty lucky. Our performance staff are really switched on, so we monitor their loads and the volume that they run each week, and we make sure that they're not doing contact every night, so they have time to recover, all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, the other thing that we probably do, is that some of our sessions get droned, so we can obviously do review stuff. Players can see themselves.
I've heard your video reviewing system is pretty good, and a great tool to be able to break down. I guess myself doing videos, I've been fortunate. Most of the coaches of the teams that I've been videoing have loved it because they can review things and you can explain. So, hopefully over time, lots of mums and dads get out there and do that, because it is good to show them, and they all love watching themselves play and that sort of thing. So, I guess what are your thoughts on where the players are coming from? There's some players that play in the elite school programs that are really good groundings. There's other kids that got to grade 10 or 11 and didn't realise that there was such a thing as a rugby league school. Does it really matter where they come from, or what are your thoughts on that?
Nah, it doesn't really matter at all, to be honest. I think each family makes a decision on what they feel is best for their children. For me, I don't care if a kid's going to local high school or he's going to one of the rugby league elite schools, and
if they've got the right attitude, they work hard, and they're good humans, and they're invested in your program, then it doesn't really matter too much.
I mean, I'm not against the league schools. Obviously, there's a place for them. I understand the importance around them as well, but I also think that they can get a bit too much footy at times, and it can. And again, I think by going to those schools, the expectations on the young person can become pretty heavy at times. For me, I don't really care where they go to school, what club they play in. I think if we can identify them, whether they're in any environment they're in, then we're prepared to bring them in here and work with them. So, and they definitely don't have to be at a league school. If they are, that's great. We'll work with them. If they're not, the same sort of thing. And I think our program's probably got a really good blend of, if I look at, say, our 17s at the moment, we have a number of boys that go to school at Iona. We have Wynnum High. We have Cleveland. We have some kids from Marsden, Maple Park. In our 19s, we have kids that have just finished at BBC. So it's a pretty good, I suppose.
That's a great sort of cross reference of players. And it's good because, myself, I've probably become aware of the schools and the competitions that go on, and they live and breathe rugby league. And like you say, it's good that you guys monitor the workload, because there's some athletes that are doing a lot of work, and I think that's great because it just conditions them and builds them into great players. But at some point you've got to think to yourself, we want to keep as many kids in the game as we can. And,
for sure. And I think we definitely have really good relationships with a number of the schools that are obviously rugby league excellent schools and that. So I'm fortunate enough there that over a long period of time in the game, we've been able to build some good relationships. So talking to those guys that run those programs and making sure, we just want to be pretty transparent here that our kids are not getting overtrained, whether we have to pull back a little bit here or they, will pull back a little bit on some of the stuff that they're doing. I think that's, something that's probably got better over a period of time, but it has taken some time.
I think the fact that you guys have relationships with them, and I believe, some of your coaching staff have invested in that process very well, and it's all about communication.
Yeah.
If you can communicate with them and they you, and spread the workload, then the main core at the centre of everyone's interest is the athlete.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a good thing. Well, look, I think that'll give people a pretty good insight. I guess, lastly, the offerings from here, if you got an opportunity to go to the Wynnum Manly Seagulls or go to another Brisbane club, what's the point of difference here, do you think, that brings them along? Or
I think most footy clubs are the same, but I think we're pretty lucky. I just think our staff are really good.
Yep.
I don't want to sound like I'm, blowing my own trumpet and the staff around me, but, obviously I've coached at a pretty decent level.
For many years.
Been able to, hopefully pass some knowledge on to 17-year-old boys that are in my care at the moment.
Yep.
I wasn't sure, honestly, how I was going to handle it. I've coached men for the last 20 years, but it's been really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one thing I've realised is, probably what I thought they knew, they don't. So it's making sure that I can, definitely just help them with little things to make them better. And also, I think our 9 coach, Blakey Trace, has been in our system for a number of years now. He was our Colts assistant coach when the Colts competition was around. He coached our 17s this year. He went up with first grade as well. He's just a really good communicator. He's a really thorough coach as well. But he genuinely cares too about his players, which I think helps us as a club just to make sure that boys know that, hey, we want you to be decent footballers and young men, but we actually do care about, where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, that's good.
And we got great support staff sitting in and around all of them as well. We're pretty thorough in who we bring in. Matty Head does a really good job on making sure that we're thorough in that regard, and we want people to be Seagulls people, and obviously our players to be to really value the Seagulls jersey.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, like I said, that gives our audience a great insight into, what goes on here. I know from chatting to different parents and people I've come in contact with, it's always been a little bit of a mystery as to how these kids end up where they end up. But obviously it's a great science, and, if you're a hard-working, keen 13, 14, 15-year-old kid around the Bayside catchment area, and you're going all right at the game, there's a fair chance that someone from the Seagulls knows your name and you might be on a list somewhere and being monitored. So that's, I guess, great to know for kids and parents alike.
Yeah, for sure. It's, as I said, the relationships with our junior clubs is really good. Schools are good. There's not too many footballers that come into our area that I don't really know about. It's just probably making sure myself or one of my staff can get out there and have a look at them and just see how they're going.
Good.
So they're definitely there's plenty of opportunities in our area to be a Seagull. Just keep working hard. And
I laugh sometimes. We talk about these kids, and you'll hear the rumour that someone will start that, there's a scout at the game on the weekend. So I think half the time mums and dads tell them because they want to see their kids do the best they can. But I guess they're pretty hard on themselves first, and second, parents are pretty hard on them. But it is just what it is. So I think it's a great game of rugby league and teaches them so much more than just sport. And that's evident here at the Seagulls. And just want to say I really appreciate your time, and, I look forward to maybe a follow-up at some point and we can talk about some more detail, but that gives the guys a bit of an understanding, the parents and players, and, really support it.
I appreciate that, Justin.
Look forward to seeing how the Cyril boys and the Mal boys and the Cup guys go this year, and looking forward to it.
I can't wait, mate. It's Australia Day weekend's first trial, so it seems ridiculous we're playing footy then, but it's only about 4 weeks away. So
that's going to be a warm one too.
Yeah, it will be. But it'll be good, and obviously the junior reps comp starts fairly early I think, second week of February. So,
Yep.
Can't wait.
Good, because the off-season's killing us, I think.
Yeah.
We want to see some footy. All right, thanks heaps, John.
No
Much
worries at all.
appreciated.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate your time.